Dude, Okay, sorry. I think I got possessed by like a frat boy from the early 2000s. I don't know what that was. But welcome to Small Town Dark Truths. I am your host, Alexis, and this is actually not part of the podcast. This is just a fun video that I wanted to do. I thought, I thought it would be fun, to just chill. So I'm going to be posting these every Thursday or Friday. I'm saying that because I don't know if I'm going to be able to have it done editing by Thursday. But every Thursday or Friday, I want to do a reacting to Reddit ghost stories just so it gives me a break from writing a script. And also, I want a place where I can just chill with y'all and have fun and not have to be so serious. So I think it would be really fun. So hopefully y'all enjoy it. Let me pull up these Reddit stories real quick. I'm going to be reading these stories from our ghost stories and our paranormal. I do want to say these are not my stories, and I will be crediting the user that wrote down their stories. I don't know how some people do Reddit reacting to. I don't know how some people react to Reddit stories without crediting the writers and get away with it, but apparently people do that. But I will be doing that. So let's just take a look. Let me go to our ghost stories. I think we're going to start with our ghost stories real quick. Okay, so I found one. This one was posted 10 days ago. Let me click on it. It's called It's called Time Traveler or Ghost by Spirited_Union_4859. It sounds really interesting. It was around 2 a.m. when I got to the laundromat. Why are they... It doesn't matter. Why are they at the laundromat at 2 a.m. is the real question. Maybe they meant 2 p.m. I don't know. There was an older lady around her mid-30s taking her clothes out of the dryer. Older lady? In her mid-30s. How old is this person? They were... older lady in her mid-30s? Okay. Never thought a 35-year-old woman was older, but sure. Okay, we'll just move past. We'll move on from that. Before she left, I asked to borrow her phone to call my parents as I was locked out of my house. The lady said yes, but when I called, nobody answered. So she told me that she's sorry and to have a good night. When she left, I began to get drowsy. So I guess this is 2 a.m. in the morning. I didn't know people went to the laundromat at 2 a.m. in the morning. Especially, I'm assuming a teenager. Like, I'm assuming this person's a teenager, but I don't really know. But I don't know, they still live with their parents, locked out, all that stuff. I don't know. An older lady in her mid-30s, but whatever. When she left, I began to get drowsy, falling in and out of sleep for about an hour. I remember there were multiple flat screen TVs hanging on the wall of the room, with different news channels playing on each. For some reason, my body filled with fear and a rush of anxiety began to kick in. I felt there was something strange about the news. My mind began to tell me it was all fake, but the words of the news anchors started to sound in sync. It was very eerie. I panicked and I left the laundromat. When I stepped outside, it was freezing cold. I'm sorry, that is so creepy. Like, if you're... I guess they were like getting drowsy and getting tired because it's in 2 a.m. in the morning. But that is like, if I was in a room and there was like a bunch of different news on the TVs and they all started to sound in sync, I would freak out. I would also freak out and run. When I stepped outside, it was freezing cold, and the parking lot, which was full when I came in, was completely empty. Why was the parking lot full at 2 a.m.? I don't know. I need to move on from this 2 a.m. thing. Okay. I don't know. I've been to a laundromat, but not in a really long time, but Nobody was outside but me. I walked about 30 feet before hearing a car pull me in behind me. When I turned around, I saw a old school station wagon parked outside of the laundromat. A man who looked to be about in his 20s or early 30s got out of the passenger seat holding a small laundry basket. Without waving goodbye to the driver or even looking back, he walked straight into the laundromat. The man had on jeans, a plaid shirt, and what looked to be Converse, dressed as if he was in the 90s. The car pulled off immediately. I decided to go back into the laundromat to use his phone and try to call my parents again. When I walked in, the news was still on, but the laundromat was silent and empty. I looked around and didn't see his basket, and there was no machines running. I thought to myself, maybe he's in the bathroom. I went to the bathroom and yelled hello multiple times, but there was nobody there. Suddenly, I could hear the coin machine releasing coins as if someone was getting quarters to do their laundry, but there was no money actually coming out of the machine. Again, I panicked and left, but this time when I walked out, the parking lot was full. There was cars parked like I first remember, and people walking around. Still to this day, I have no idea what to make of this. That is very interesting. I can definitely see time traveler or ghost, but honestly, my straight opinion, I think you are the time traveler or ghost. Like, imagine the guy, like, you go in, like, if he's in another dimension or something, you're over there yelling hello, and what if he can still hear that? Like, you heard the coins. What if he hears your hello and he's probably freaking out too? He's probably like, a ghost, a ghost. But that is so weird. You are the time traveler or ghost, honestly. Let's see what comments. Okay, someone said, Dreamer9109 said, it's not far-fetched. Time is not linear. The past, present, and future is happening around us at all times. I've heard of that theory. I've definitely heard of that theory. But I'm just gonna say this. Don't say it's not far-fetched. Like, it is. It's definitely probably true. I'm not saying I don't believe in that theory, but don't say it's not far-fetched, I don't know. It's just, it is definitely a weird story. Salted Caramel 3581 said, freaky story, so it seems like you would be the time traveler, right? That's what I said. Since you momentarily experience a completely different reality at the same location at the laundromat, I'm going to admit that I'm finding it difficult to believe your story because it sounds so far-fetched. Exactly. It sounds far-fetched. It does. I've never heard of anyone who has actually experienced time traveling, but I believe you since you are representing this as a true story, right? So blah, blah, I'm not going to read the rest of that, but that is just, it is a really, really cool story. And, I mean, I feel bad for the guy in the plaid. I also feel bad for the lady, dude. He said she was maybe, obviously she might be older than him. That's why he said older, but I just don't like it, I'm pretty close to 30 myself, so I don't think like a 35-year-old is old at all. They are very young. If you are 35, you're young, honey bun. You're young. You're living your best life right now, okay? Anyway, let's move on. That one was super interesting. I will say I do have a hard time believing it as a true story, because it all is just weird. Like, to talk about the 2 a.m. again. To talk about it again. Why is there a bunch of people at the laundromat at 2 a.m.? And I don't know. Maybe that's just a thing. If that's just a thing, ignore me. But he said the parking lot was full, and it's a laundromat. Like, anytime I've ever passed by a laundromat or even been to a laundromat, the parking lot's not full, but, I live in a different place probably. I live in the South, where I haven't even seen a laundromat in God knows how long. But, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Okay, this one was from 6 days ago. These are more recent. I'm not scrolling too far in the Reddit. Let's see. This one is again from Argo Stories. The username is Queen Amphetamine.
Huh?
I don't know what that means, and I have maybe a slight idea, but I hope it's not what I think it means. But I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. We're just gonna move on. Strange things happening since I moved into my boyfriend's apartment. When I moved into my boyfriend's apartment, everything started to fall apart, literally. Right before I was supposed to move in, a pipe between the kitchen and the bathroom cracked and flooded the apartment below us. We lived for about 7 months with an actual hole in the wall in a kitchen that could not be used at all. What the actual heck? What the actual heck? 7 months? What? Why was that not fixed sooner? I feel like 7 months is way too long, and you have better had like a huge discount on your rent. You should barely be paying rent. You should barely be paying rent in those 7 months, at least. A hole in the wall in a kitchen that could not be used. That is actually crazy. Let's move on though. Since the beginning, I've been feeling really uneasy, especially in the bathroom and in the hallway leading into it. Sometimes I feel like someone is watching me there. Once I even felt as if someone pulled on my pants while I was about to undress. It scared me so. Pulled on my pants. Oh, okay, just pulled on my pants. I thought I was like in my head thinking that the ghost pantsed her. And I would have been mad. Me and Ghost are so chill. I like Ghost. I'm chill with them. Never had a bad ghost in my life that, I'm aware of. I don't really know if there's many bad ghosts. They're kind of more of just cats. Like, they really are. They knock stuff over. Sometimes they can be a little bit annoying, but most of the time they're just there. They're not as cuddly as cats, obviously, but I mean, me and Ghost are super chill. I like Ghost. We bond. We coexist. Um, but if a ghost pants me, no, no, no. I am getting I'm getting it out. I'm gonna try everything because as soon as you pants me, you're my enemy. I don't hate anyone. I really don't. I don't really hate people in general. But if you pants me, you are my worst enemy. And I am seeking revenge. Okay? I am. I don't care how long it takes. I am doing it and I will get my revenge. I hate you. If you pants me, I hate you and I wish the worst upon you. I don't know why it gets to me so bad, but it does. It does. I blame my sister. She pantsed me in front of my crush once when I was little, and never quite fully forgave her for that. If you're watching this, I don't forgive you, and I might have had bad memory and forgot to get my revenge, but now that I remember, I am seeking my revenge. Watch out. Anyway, let's move on to this. The ghost did not pants her. The ghost just kind of tugged on her pants. Yeah. I will say, from what this kind of seems like, it black mold. Like, I'm just gonna put it out there. Not to, gaslight her or them or whoever they are. You probably got a lot of black mold in that apartment after that whole flood. So, I'm just gonna say that. Get a dehumidifier. Try to move. I know it's not easy for people to move. But you gotta try to save up or something because this place is garbage and it's not good for your physical health. It's probably not good for your mental health. Black mold can do some pretty bad stuff, and it's really hard to get all of it out, especially when you are renting an apartment because you don't own it. So it's not like you can tear the walls down or anything like that. And clearly, if it took your landlord 7 months to get that fixed, then I don't know the timeline for that kind of stuff. I've never lived in an apartment like that. But I feel like 7 months is a little bit too long. And if it took your landlord 7 months to get that fixed, they probably don't care about your well-being or anything. Not many landlords do. You know, you might find one somewhere in the world, but none of them really care, especially in apartments. You gotta move, dude. You gotta move. But let's move on. Okay. The bedroom is no better. It turned out that the water from the roof gutter leaks directly onto the wall. I often feel like someone is walking there or just standing and watching. The roof. You have another leak? Okay. I'd be genuinely surprised if you don't have black mold. You have a roof gutter leak. You had a pipe burst. Girl. But I will say, even with black mold and stuff, ghosts can still exist in that area, so I'm not going to blame it all on black mold. But yeah, I've seen Haunting of Hill House. You know, they had a lot of mold there, but girl, that house was haunted. But anyway, there are also strange sounds in the kitchen and living room. Sometimes I hear the TV playing, but when I walk in, it is completely off. Sometimes I hear the sound of glasses clicking as if someone had flicked them with their fingers. Things fall or make noises for no reason, yet when I check, everything is still in its place. I have also been having disturbing dreams. In one dream, I saw a ghost walking in a line towards the wall in our bedroom. Then they turned around and walked back into the direction of the bathroom. I was lying in bed and watching myself sleep, standing behind me. Astral projection. That's what that is, I think. That's pretty cool, you know, doing that. But in another dream, I was floating in the air and... Wait, what? In another dream, I was floating in the air, paralyzed in a strange, twisted position, with one hand stretched out and a smoky hand appeared from nowhere and pulled my fingers. Okay, that one is not as nice or as cool. That is terrifying. That is a I was floating in there paralyzed with in a strange twisted position. Ew, no. Ugh. My partner and I are honestly scared to go to the bathroom at night. We usually leave the door open and the light on in the hallway when we have to use it. I would like to attach a photo of the hallway at the entrance to the bathroom. This is a spot where I feel worse, even when I just walk by, but it's not allowed in the sub. I didn't know that photos are not allowed in our ghost stories. I guess not. Any advice on this case despite moving places? Honestly, girl, that is my only advice I got. That is, I mean, you could try dehumidifier or something, but yeah, that's kind of the only one I have. Why is music playing? Okay. P.S. This building itself is quite old, around 70 to 80 years old. That is an old apartment building. How has this building not been torn down and rebuilt? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when apartments especially get so old, like, they need to be upgraded and honestly at a certain point torn down. I mean, they are dealing with so much, you know, like the roof gutter leak, the pipe bust, like a ghost, possibly. Like, that is just, and 70 to, no. Spare underscore ad underscore 8880 said spirits thrive in damp environments, apparently. So my advice would be get that leaky gutter fixed. I agree. It's usually cheap and easy, or you will have much bigger bills down the line. Check the humidity levels with the hydrometer. Buy a dehumidifier and use it. I love mine. After using it in each room for a week or so, the whole place feels warmer and more cozy, and no deadly damp. You might find that it helps with any other unwelcome ghost. OP said, it got fixed yesterday. I hope the workers did their job right. And we also have a dehumidifier in every room, but it is not enough, sadly. We also live by rent, so we're not able to do much except moving places in the future. I just feel like the ghost or whatever lives here is also breaking the whole building, because every neighbor we have had the same issues, except they never mention paranormal stuff because the whole building is crap. This whole building shouldn't be made in. It should be torn down. It should be torn down. And it's, I mean, they have never mentioned any paranormal stuff, but I mean, they need to check, like, the carbon monoxide or something. Like, I think that there is definitely, like, black mold, and I don't know, like, and that stuff can do crazy things, like causing crazy dreams, making you hallucinate. Like, it, it's like, it's dangerous, and I know it might not be something you can do at the moment. You know, people can't just up and move apartments or break leases and stuff like that, but you gotta try to make a game plan to get out of this place, because it's not good. It's a crap apartment. It's a crap apartment building, and, you know, it's probably not good for your health. God knows what you are taking in every single day. And I'm so sorry you have to be going through all this. I'm so sorry that you couldn't use your kitchen and you had a hole in your wall for 7 months. Ugh, that absolutely sucks. Like, I couldn't imagine that. That is just 7 months. That's way too freaking long. Way too long. Ugh. Okay. Let's do another one. The user is big-consequence-2669, and it's called "A Ghost Gave Me My Lost Stuffed Animal." Ooh, this sounds like a sweet ghost already. When I was 8, around 6 years ago, I had moved into a new house with my family. I have this stuffed animal duck that I've had since I was 4, and at the time I slept with him every night. Still do, to be honest. But since we still had loads of boxes, I had lost him and didn't want to go to bed. Aw. My family eventually just told me if she or my oldest sister finds him, she will bring him. So I went to bed without a problem, and I woke up around 3:30 a.m. Honestly, wait, we'll continue the story in a second. I want to ask a question. 3:30 a.m. Does anyone else just randomly wake up between 3 to 4, like during that witching hour? Because I do almost every single day, and sometimes I'll go back to sleep, but sometimes I can't, and I just full on wake up for the day at 3:30 o'clock, and it's so weird, and I can't get it. It just started. Like, I don't know why I do it, but I just want to know, is it a normal kind of thing? Does other people have to deal with this? Because it's kind of a problem. I don't want to wake up at 3. I like having more time in my day, but I don't want to wake up at freaking 3 o'clock for no reason. Oh, or am I haunted? Who knows? Who knows? I've been haunted before. So, you know. Anyway, I woke up around 3:30 a.m. to a woman standing next to my bed by my head. I slept by the door so I could get up for school easier. That's super smart. I wish I did that when I was a kid. So I saw the woman with the hallway light. She was tall with long hair. She looked motherly, but that's all I really remember. Otherwise, she was just hard to see. She gave me my stuffed animal and told me, "Here you go, honey," and tucked me back in. I remember saying thank you and falling back to sleep. I woke up the next morning to go thank my mother for bringing me my stuffed animal. She was confused and told me it wasn't her, probably my sister. So I went and thanked her, and it wasn't her either. And sure, it could have been someone else in my family, but my sister and my mother were the only adult females at the time, and they usually call me by my nickname or my middle name. No one has ever called me honey. No one's ever called you honey? What? One of my favorite things in the world is when, like, someone calls me honey, because when living in the South, growing up in the South, it's pretty common to be called honey. And, like, older women will call you honey. Some people even your age will call you honey. And it just gives me so much warmth. And I love it with everything inside. It's like, I don't know. It gives me this feeling and I fall in love right away. Like, I love it when people call me honey. It makes me so happy and it makes me feel so special. No matter how many times I've been called honey, it always makes me happy. It always put me in a good mood. So, keep this ghost, because sometimes I still hear the word honey whispered before I go to bed. It's always so clear. A few times I felt someone rubbing my back. I sleep in my own room. But I haven't seen this woman since. Have I been crazy? Oh, this house also used to be part of a church. The part where memorials were held and stuff. The house is 253 years old. Anyone know anything I should probably do? First of all, living in a old church, like that's your house, is pretty crazy. And I think I would enjoy that very much. Especially such an old one, 253 years old. That's crazy. That is so cool. Also, don't do anything. Okay, you got this amazing ghost who sounds like the sweetest soul ever. She gave you your stuffed animal. She calls you honey. She rubs your back. She's like a grandma. You got a grandma, a free grandma. And who doesn't want a free grandma? I wish this ghost was living with me. I want to have a grandma around. Not that I don't have a grandma. I do have a grandmother. But, just free grandma. Who could have too many grandmothers? You know what I mean? Let's see what the comments say. OP asked, what do I name her? Even_spring_7122 said she most likely has a name, duh. Just need to do some research on who passed in or around your home. Considering the age, it's a historical building, so its history is probably written to some degree. Online research, local libraries, and newspapers may give you a clue as to who she was. Your mom can probably speak with previous owners as well. They may already know who she is. OP said, I did do research over websites and grave sites. I've decided to call her Mrs. P. Oh my gosh. That is the most adorable name, and she is 100% a Mrs. P. That is so cute. Every woman who has ever lived here ended with a P, and according to her grave, she died in a fire with her husband and son. My town went through a great fire and was rebuilt. That is so sad. I hope. That is so sad. Now I kind of don't want her to be that. I don't want this to be happening to this sweet ghost. Like, that is such a sad, tragic story. Like, she passed in a fire with her husband and son. Like, that is tragic. Ugh, Mrs. P. You poor thing. Okay, we have another one. This one is also our ghost stories. I think the next one, which will probably be the last the last story that we talk about, is going to be our paranormal. But I do want to do one more our ghost stories real quick, because our paranormal sometimes has very scary things. It sometimes does very, very scary things. So anyway, this one is by visual-wishbone6881. Who was behind my door? This happened to me about 3 years ago, but every time I tell it, I get chills. So one night, while at my parents' house, I went to my room and got ready to sleep. When I was already in bed, I heard a knock at the door. I just asked, who was it? About a minute passed and they knocked again. I answered and said, come in. It had to be one of my parents, but no one opened up the door and I was too tired to go and answer it. Okay. First of all, I would have answered it. I would have swung that door right open and I would have been like, what do you want? Because, well, I'm too curious, and also I would probably think, oh, it was my parents too. But I will say you probably did the right thing not answering the door. Me, I would 100% be that person in a horror movie that's like, hello? anyone there? Hello? And I'd go down that dark hallway. I would, if I hear something creepy going on in a dark room or something, I would go to it. So don't do what I do, because I would die in a horror movie 100%. I definitely would. Or be severely traumatized. But let's continue. About 3 minutes passed and they knocked again, but this time they called me by my name. I swear I heard my mom's voice, but it was in a serious tone. It was my name. She always called me by my nickname. So I got up and was about to open up the door, but I felt something strange. So behind the door, I yelled, "What's wrong, Mom? What do you need?" But no one answered, so I went back to bed. That's the scariest part of this right now. I will say the whole story so far is pretty creepy, but the scariest part is hearing your mom yell your government name, banging on the door. I would be terrified. I would be like, oh my god, what did I do? I would be absolutely terrified. She knocked again. Then, after about 3 minutes, she knocked again, louder, and called me by my name again. I think something had happened and she wanted me to come. I opened the door, but no one was there. I went downstairs to my parents' room and asked them what had happened, why she hadn't come by. Speaking to my mom. She said nothing, why. I explained everything that had happened and she said I never went. I've been in my room for an hour and haven't left anywhere. My parents said maybe it was an echo, but it was too much to just be that. My brother told me, you should never invite an entity in. That's why they knock. You should never tell them to come in. I said, but it sounded just like my mom. I swear it was her voice. The brother... the brother being like, you're so dumb. Why did you let that... Let her be. Let them be. Like, he's literally like, why would you do that? You're so dumb. Like, you should never have done, like, how is she supposed to know if that's an entity? That's why they're really good at their jobs, because why would you just first assume that it was some entity? But hey, at least she's got her brother to help her out with this, since he knows so much. Then he told me that there are entities that do that. Later, I started seeing TikToks about someone calling their mom, and then suddenly their mom appears and stops them from going towards the voice because it wasn't her. Have you heard of these entities? Do you know what they're called? Should I be worried? Yes, you should be worried. Obviously, you have a mimic. Let's see. Sorry, you shouldn't be worried. You're probably fine, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. This post was 9 days ago, so I guess, you still have time. Not much, but some. Anyway, let's see. Muted bridge 4093 said they're called mimics, yes. My stepson heard my daughter screaming for them for help deep in our woods, but my daughters weren't even home. They were with me. Now that's creepy. My stepsons called my husband to verify the girls weren't in trouble in the woods. They decided to call it a night after that. That is a terrifying story in itself. The stepson heard her daughters screaming for help in the deep woods, but her daughters were with her. What? That is just scary, because it's either a mimic and they're trying to get you into the woods, or it was just other girls in the woods screaming for help, and you were just like, no. Like, have you thought about that? Have you ever thought that maybe it was another girl? Another girl's, like, in there? I don't know. Could be. You never know. Crimes happen. I know that very well. That is scary. But let's move on to, we'll do one more post. We'll do one from our paranormal, because that's where the really creepy stuff happens. Let's see, our paranormal. This one. Ah! Oh my gosh. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, I saw this photo. Okay, we'll talk about this because they do have a story. Oh, I just exited. I don't want to. Okay, we'll talk about this because they do have a story. But that full reaction, I silent screamed. Okay, here's the photo. Yeah. Yep, that's it. That's terrifying. That jump scared me because the first one is just like it's dark, and then they turn the exposure up, and I don't like it. I'm gonna scroll down. Okay, they do have a story with it though. Oh god, let's hear the story. Oh, I hate that photo. I can't believe I forget that you saw my reaction. Okay, forget that you saw me silent scream. And that whole I blacked it out. I think actually. Yeah. This is from severe-tell 2254 from Our Paranormal. I've been dealing with some disturbing occurrences. There would be days where I would be on call with my fiance and the lights don't really and the lights not really and the lights aren't really a flicker but just turn on and off repeatedly. I would show her in real time on call, and we kind of just brushed it off as something with the electricity. Later on, I started feeling a presence, and I would notice things falling off the cupboards. Mainly the same item each time, and other instances I felt a very cold draft with no doors or windows open. Fast forward to a couple months, I traveled to Canada to meet with my long distance partner, and she noticed that I would sleep talk but whisper. She said it didn't sound like English, and my eyes were wide open. No. No. What? If my fiance. This whole post is getting me. It's doing something to my body. If my fiance was asleep with their eyes wide open and whispering another language, no. I'm calling a priest. Hello? Right then, right there. I don't care what time it is. That is a no-go for me. Me and ghosts chill. Me and demons not chill. I don't like demons. Sorry for any of my demons back there. But no, that is so, no. I looked at the photo again also. I don't like it. Let's move past this post. Without me realizing it, she said I would start snoring when she would comfort me. I just got home 3 days ago. I slept and heard knocking on my back door and footsteps. One night, I walked on the way to the restroom and noticed a shadow figure, and I happened to take a photo. I used my phone's exposure to get some help lighting the photo and got this picture. With the light, the entity went away. What could this be? Just an illusion? Honey! Please help me. I've been praying it's nothing that would hurt me. I've also noticed I had scratches this morning with blood that lasted all day. I think it already hurt you. I think it's too late. And I think move. I'm sorry. First of all, not an illusion. You have a photo of it. Stop gaslighting yourself, okay? Also, yeah, you're probably dead. I'm sorry. You're gone. There's no hope for you. That photo. Oh, I keep looking at it. Oh my god. That gets me. Oh. No. No. Ugh. Okay, they posted a picture of what the room hallway looks like with the lights on, and this is it. It looks like there's just a door there. It's just a... Is it peeking its... I'm gonna cry. Okay. Oh no. Someone said, WTF, it's a door right there. Was the door closed at the time of the creepy photo? OP said yes, it was closed. I don't know, Signori Reaper said, that's creepy AF, still showed up in the doorway of the hall. Doors are portals. Are you trying to figure out what to do about it? Blah, 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 blah. Doorways are portals. I mean, I will say, it looks like something peeking its head out of the door. Like, it literally does. I don't like it, and I feel like I'm gonna puke. Since I have to keep staring at it, here it is again. We are in this together. We're in this together. I'm exiting out of this. I will say, before we go, I do actually have a photo. Since we're talking about photos, it's a screenshot. I'll screenshot the video. It's actually a video, of when I was in, it was like 2014. I was a teenager, and me and my friend were babysitting her cousin at the time. He was a lot younger than us. He was a little boy, take in mind. And we were babysitting him, and we ordered pizza, and we decided that it would be super funny or whatever, cool. I don't know. You know how teenagers were back then. But we thought it would be funny if I took a video of me eating a peppercini, which, take in mind, I love pepperoncinis. I will eat a bunch of them. I'll eat a whole entire jar of them perfectly fine. But we thought it'd be funny if I ate it and then pretended like it was like super spicy or whatever. So I like bit it, and then I went, and then I came back up, and this thing just kind of floats up. It's like, it looks like a girl or a female floats up behind my like behind my shoulder, and just stays there. And it's, yeah, here it is. Here's that photo. Here's a screenshot of the actual like ghost. But also take in mind that where we were standing was in the kitchen, and where it was like in the back was actually 2 steps down into this like little coffee snack area, like just a little side area that, I don't know, rich people have. I don't know what it is, but so it's 2 steps down. So whatever that was behind me was either floating or really tall, and that makes it even scarier. But there's my experience that I had. It was like 30 minutes later. I rewatched the video on my story, on my Snapchat story, and you can't edit Snapchat stories like that. I will say, at least back then. I don't know if you can now. I don't have Snapchat, but I rewatched it on my story, and my stomach dropped when I noticed it. We did not notice it for like 30 minutes or an hour, but it was, and I told her, and she freaked out, and we, like, another 30 minutes, his parents came back, and we dipped. We were, like, gone. But yeah. Anyway, that's all we got for today. I hope y'all enjoyed this. Please let me know if you like it by liking and subscribing. Also, check out my podcast. We just posted a video on Monday. We post every Monday. Actually, this last video came out technically on Tuesday because I was having a lot of technical issues with editing and stuff, so I had to do it a day late. Hopefully that doesn't happen anymore, but if you like this reacting to Reddit ghost stories, again, please let me know by liking and subscribing. I really like to just hang out and show y'all a little bit more of my personality. And I don't have to work on a script or anything like that, so that's really nice. It takes off a little bit of work. I can post more videos and stuff like that. But yeah, I hope y'all have a great rest of your night. Sleep tight, and don't let the ghost take over your body and do stuff. I don't know. Anyway, see you later. Bye!